Yeah. Welcome to Weddings Uncensored, where we drink and talk and talk and drink. I'm Kyle.
I'm Allie, and we are here breaking down the good, the bad, and the downright crazy of this whole wedding industry. And cheers.
Cheers.
Today is Halloween. Ooh. Spooky. So we thought, why not get into some scary wedding shit with some horror stories?
Horror.
Horror
stories.
We don't like to focus on, all the negative and sad and
Not
scary.
all the good, the bad, and the downright crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess horror stories actually kind of deal with the downright crazy.
It does.
Okay,
and I think, we're going to try to keep it mostly light with the horror stories.
Sounds
There's
good.
some really dark shit that happens,
Sounds
but we
good.
don't need to touch on all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Today it's spooky, not really scary.
Spooky, not scary.
Yeah, like there's really, people dying and like.
Yeah, we'll pause. We'll pause on that one.
We'll save those for another day. Sorry.
Or in person.
I just think, it's wild after a decade of doing this. Like, of course, you've seen every iteration of nightmares happen, whether that's leading up to the wedding, whether that's a wedding being canceled because like somebody's dumping somebody. I mean,
That's rough. That's really rough.
there's some rough things,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this came to my mind because we had a near wedding nightmare situation coming up for our wedding that's happening this coming weekend.
So we won't know until the following episode on how it happened.
No,
so we're gonna have to follow up.
No. Well, it's mostly resolved. So,
Oh, okay, that's good.
Okay, so this wedding nightmare situation, and I think that like the link that happens between a lot of wedding nightmares is it's like anything that's really out of your control, right? So like weather, like health emergencies, like these types of things are just like fuck, like you just get blindsided. There's nothing you can do,
Yeah.
just those kinds of surprises. So everything's straightforward with this wedding. It's at a hotel, a Marriott. I mean, that should be as
good.
straightforward as it gets. Hotel weddings typically are very easy. There's lots of staff. It's, it's great. Well, we find out literally, again, this is live time. We're recording on a Thursday.
We are recording,
the wedding,
not live.
But yeah. In real life, this is happening Wednesday. The wedding is on Saturday. Find out that there is a massive strike, a union strike going on at the Marriott.
We love strikes.
Yes, and now we love strikes.
We love strikes, but when it doesn't affect us,
we love strikes. So not only is like the hotel basically having this crazy picket line out front, and they have to like figure out where to do the ceremony because there's horns and drums and like crazy ass. Like, this is not like a silent protest. No. This is a big, loud.
Is this in Huntington?
Strike.
Where is this at?
In South Orange County, like Laguna. And not only is there that, but now the bride and groom have gotten threatening phone calls from the union leaders saying if you don't cancel your wedding, which again is in 3 days, then we're going to walk out on your day. Like, you're not going to have anyone to help. Like, can you imagine getting phone calls like that?
Scary.
Yeah. And so these clients are coming to our team like, what do we do? And I'm like, honestly, I have no fucking clue. Like,
right. I'm just a wedding planner, not a strike coordinator.
Yeah, I'm not a union organizer. I don't know what to do. And like, it's my job to know what to do, but like, I don't fucking know what to do. Long story long, spoiler alert, the bride's dad is a powerful man and was able to literally get this strike like settled in 24 hours by making some big time threats, which is crazy. Shoot. So knock on wood, everything is going to be fine because supposedly the hotel and the workers.
Wait, this is...
We don't say names.
I'm just
you have
gonna
to bleep
bleep
it out. Yes. So
That's
the bride,
crazy.
I know. So he's like some big wig.
He's a really sweet guy too.
Well,
everything that I've been talking to him about it because we've been doing that video for him. Yeah. But like,
well, apparently he's a powerful enough man that he was able to settle a strike between the union and the fucking Marriott within 24 hours so that his daughter's wedding was not fucked up.
We got to keep him on our side.
I know. And again, knock on wood this wedding is happening in 2 days, so we'll see. But I was like, how did this man sing? He needs to go help the writers and the actors and all the other
for
strikes.
real. Yeah.
Just send in
to quit whatever job you're doing and Wait, we can't. I'm gonna have to bleep all the.
No, it's funnier. It's funny. So anyway, wedding nightmare hopefully averted, but it's shit like that, right? Like in a million years, how do you see that
that's crazy.
Coming? It's like probably the people who were getting married at the beginning of COVID times, and it's like, oh, we didn't see this coming. A fucking pandemic, shut down for a year, venues closing. Like that was basically a whole year of wedding nightmares of disasters.
Yes.
Do you have a good wedding nightmare?
Okay, so it's not as good as yours because obviously you're Allie, and Allie has the best stories. So mine is an elopement in Joshua Tree. And the couple had us for, I think it was like 6 hours. Super nice wedding. Everything's going off without a hitch. There's only like 8 people there. The bride decides after the ceremony, we haven't taken portrait session photos yet. Like we haven't explored and gone out and taken photos yet. But the bride decides right after the ceremony, it's time to drink.
Oh, yeah.
So she starts drinking. And she starts drinking more.
Yeah.
And more. And more. So she doesn't black out, but you know how some people like have different gauges of like what they do when they get drunk?
Yeah.
Some get sleepy.
Yeah.
Some get
mean.
slap happy.
Yeah.
Some get mean.
Yeah.
Some turn into a raging, bad, mean person.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was her.
Yeah.
This was her. And the groom is chilling. Like, no issues with the groom, and he's trying to be nice. Now we go into the portrait session, but she's just being mean. She's saying like, I don't want to be here anymore. Oh my God, you suck at taking photos.
Oh my God.
And she's drunk. So she's just saying
crazy.
all this stuff, and she's probably feeling all this stuff because she's just got married.
Stressed
and
she's
trying to just relax a little bit. But I think we took photos for maybe like 3 minutes, and the groom was just like, sorry, guys.
Let's call this.
We're all done. Thank you so much for your service. You can go home.
Oh my God.
And I think their video was like 2 minutes long because after the ceremony, there was really not much that we could use. Nope. Absolutely nothing. So I would say the horror story is, the lesson from this horror story is,
don't get too fucked up.
Don't get too fucked up.
Yeah.
And too early. Yeah. Like, wait at least until after your photos. Go ahead and get fucked up after
1,000%.
that. Yeah. But I also think the groom knew and she knew what type of drunk she is. Yeah. So it definitely wasn't a good combination of like, I'm going to decide to get really fucked up on my wedding day, knowing that I get mean.
But that's,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
alcohol will lead to many wedding horror stories. I mean, there's
great ones.
Also good ones.
I'll throw out some positivity in there. You know,
sometimes alcohol is great.
sometimes it can be really great for the dance floor. You know,
true.
But
that's true.
In this case, it absolutely was not. I felt really bad for the groom.
Alcohol is definitely a big catalyst. I mean, I've definitely had to have brides literally like carried out of the venue. We've had police called because there's fights happening between guests. Like it's a
pop the champagne wedding.
It's a scary one. It's a scary one. So one of my wedding like nightmare stories, people always ask about bridezillas, and I'm like, I've had way worse groomzillas. Like
really
100%.
Oh, interesting.
Groomzillas and momzillas.
Moms for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
1,000 times more than my brides.
Because moms always think it ends up being their day.
It's
you know?
Something, yes. Or like a cunty maid of honor that just thinks the day's about her or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this particular groomzilla, this wedding was years ago. And he was a chef.
Okay.
And he had very like Gordon Ramsay Top Chef vibes. Okay. Like kind of, bitchy and like thought he was really hot shit and whatever. And they got married at a very fine dining restaurant because he was really into food. So, I understand.
Yep.
But he was also hammered, drank way too much whiskey, decided halfway through the entree course, and is in the middle of the wedding. It's a small wedding, too. There's maybe only like 50 people. So imagine everyone can see everything that's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
He decides that the lamb chops were not up to his specification and called me over to call the chef over, stood up in the middle of the wedding and started picking up the lamb chops off of his plate and throwing them on the ground and screaming in the middle of everything at this fine dining restaurant chef that like, you call this a lamb chop? Like all fucking crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Throwing food. I can't remember the name. It's up in Central California. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not ideal. And
That's
like they
crazy.
were just looking at me
and
I was
because
like,
of alcohol though.
Well, he was obviously just an
Two
asshole,
dings
too.
for alcohol.
Two
Okay.
dings for alcohol,
All right,
but he
sounds
was
good.
obviously just an asshole.
Okay.
But as soon as someone starts throwing food, like, I'm out. I don't get paid enough for this shit. Like,
I get mad at my toddler doing this.
yes,
Like you're a grown-ass
a
adult.
grown-ass adult
You
at your
should not be
own
throwing
wedding.
food.
Can you just control your emotions for 4 seconds?
And don't forget, you still paid for this lamb chop that you're throwing on the
Yes,
ground.
yes,
So, you know,
yes.
that
Oh my God.
sucks.
Yeah, and like
That
way to
super sucks.
not just ruin like your own experience, but like all
Like,
your
yes.
guests' experiences.
No one will never forget.
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
No one will never forget.
No one will never forget. What the fuck? No one will forget.
Yeah.
There we go. God. No one will forget what you did at
they're
your
not gonna
wedding.
remember all the other beautiful things. Like there was a gorgeous ceremony. There was, I mean, a lovely meal.
No one's
like,
gonna
but
invite
no
you
one's
to their wedding.
No.
100%. Absolutely not.
no.
Hey, Bob, it's a taco guy. Please, just leave him alone.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Leave
like
him
he's just
alone.
doing his job. I really like him. Please don't throw them on the ground.
Doing his best.
As long as you promise not to say anything about the food, you can come. Okay?
I know. Can you imagine just what like a douchey friend to have too, where like they just complain about everything all the time? I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. The one day you just need to like not lose your shit.
Yeah.
And you lose your shit in front of everybody.
Yeah. My other really bad groomzilla had like 5 outfit changes through the night. The bride didn't have any outfit changes. He was like so into himself. Somehow the vows he made all about him. Yeah.
Shocking.
Like it was like almost comical. Like, are we on candid camera? Like, how is this man only talking about himself in the vows?
I promise that I will be the best.
Yeah.
Because I'm so good.
Yeah, it was more about that. He talked about how he had like lost 50 pounds at some point and like all this like personal journey that he'd been on.
Dumb.
It was so weird.
Oh my gosh.
And then he was so drunk again, alcohol.
3 dings.
But
Alcohol.
that by the cake cutting, he was falling over, almost knocking over the cake. So we had to go put him have a nap in the bridal suite.
Oh.
And I was actually just like so happy that he didn't even get to enjoy his own wedding because he was such a dick the whole time.
That sucks.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot. I wish I didn't have so many.
I feel like I
nightmare
just want to
stories.
go like assist you at weddings just to like watch these things unhappen.
Well, it's interesting because you've also done a million weddings, but I think as a planner and coordinator, you just get privy to more like things that are happening, like both in the pre-planning parts and the day before the rehearsal.
Yeah.
You get a little more involved with people's families, like so. I think we just see a little bit more drama.
I think too is because we're so focused on specifically the couple, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about the guests. I
That's
don't care about
true.
their food. I don't care about seating charts. I don't care about any of that. I care as long as the bride and groom or the couple is having a good time. Cool.
That's true.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're definitely getting more complaints from people, or
100%. You're the customer
grandpa
service of
fell
the day.
down, and we have to go deal with calling the ambulance and all kinds of stuff like that. So.
You're the customer service for the day for all these guests. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A wedding horror story that was in the news recently. This was somewhere on the East Coast.
Okay.
I think it was like in New York, but a wedding photographer. A wedding photographer, there's like the dress shot, like the hanging the dress in the window or whatever kind of shot that you get during the getting ready process. So the photographer was there shooting getting ready photos, hung the dress on a fire sprinkler in the hotel room.
Oh, no.
And literally set off all the fire sprinklers while all the girls are getting ready. So the wedding dress, all the bridesmaid dresses, the hair and makeup vendors, whole kit of all of their makeup, probably thousands of dollars worth of makeup, the photographer and videographer, all of their equipment, literally everything was damaged during this hotel. And if you know how that fire sprinkler water looks when it comes out, it's literally like black, like it's dirty water that just sits up there.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, no.
I was like, when I heard that one, I was like, that's a bad one.
That's a super bad one because now not only is everything delayed at least 2 hours, but like the equipment for the photography and videography
probably done. Probably kaput. I mean, that's why
I'm like, I know the cameras that we use like are water resistant, but nothing is waterproof.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if something happened to an SD card, if something happened like I don't know, anything internally, like you can't use the camera. You have to go get it repaired.
I can only imagine.
Oh, God.
And that is why, boys and girls, getting insurance for your wedding day is important.
100%. And that is why photographers and videographers don't hang a dress on a fire sprinkler.
I
Don't.
I just imagine
Don't.
either that person was an idiot or it was just such a brain fart moment. Like I could almost imagine. I can't imagine doing that. I think I would be smarter than that.
The risk was worth it,
or just didn't think that would set it off, or I don't know. But that's like such a gnarly one.
Dude.
I don't even know what ended up happening.
Okay, was it the whole hotel that ended up?
I don't think that it sets off. I don't think it sets off the whole hotel because that would be
not.
No.
That would suck.
That would be wild if that happens.
That would be beyond a horror story. That would be like you can never photograph a wedding ever again.
Ever again.
Like no one's gonna hire you ever again.
Yes. Well, event insurance is a real thing.
Yes.
Vendors carry insurance, but couples should definitely get insurance as well because again, like
your business.
How do you
the
plan for that?
I can imagine how much money was spent on obviously the equipment for the photography, videography, but like hair and makeup too. That shit is super expensive.
Thousands of dollars.
Super expensive.
Yeah.
So,
and not to mention, what did the bride wear? I don't even know if it was covered in dirty
gosh,
fire sprinkler water.
Oh yeah, because the dress was.
Yeah, all of them.
Oh no!
Yeah. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. So speaking of photos, another one of my horror stories was the rehearsal day before the wedding. The bride and groom had their bachelorette parties the night before the rehearsal, so 2 days before the wedding, which this is like old school. I feel like people used to do the bachelor party like the night before the wedding.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing anymore. Like people do it way more in advance.
I think it's more like at least a couple days in advance.
At least.
That way you're not so fucked up the morning of your wedding.
Yeah, I don't think people do it that close now.
I would want to. But it reminds me of
I would need like weeks of recovery with how I party. So
what's that scene in like Sherlock Holmes where they're getting like one of the guys, Winston. What's Sherlock and what's his name?
Whoa. I think it's
Winston. No, it's not Winston.
It's not Winston.
Anyway, Sherlock and his best friend's getting married, and they roll up to the wedding in a carriage or like one of those like putt cars, or you have to like crank it or whatever, and they roll out bottles are piling out.
Yeah.
And they just roll it, and he just like wipes him up, grabs his hand and pulls him in, and then like the Irish instrument, what's that thing?
Oh
called?
my god,
the bagpipe.
The story is off the rails.
It's Kyle. The bagpipe starts playing, and he just walks in and goes and stands up, and everyone's looking at him like, "What the fuck did you do?"
That's really funny.
That's 4 strikes for alcohol, by the way.
That's also
even
in this Sherlock Holmes. That should tell you everything. Okay, well, this is going to be 5 strikes for alcohol. Right. So they had the bachelor party the night before the rehearsal. So the bride and groom have not seen each other because he's coming straight from the bachelor party. It's the rehearsal. I see him get out of the car, and his whole head, from the top of his forehead down to his nose, so like the entire forehead, is stitches, big black stitches. And the story was he was drunk at his bachelor party, getting out of a cab and like
smacked his head
on the door. Oh. Who knows if that's what happened or if it was something else? But regardless, he was drunk and did something. Yeah. Regardless, something bad happens. And like big ass black, like Frankenstein stitches.
Oh, man.
Like cannot be covered by
hair and makeup.
I mean, you can Photoshop that shit out, but like
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I would just embrace it at that point.
She was so pissed. So that was the other crazy thing, though. We're all at the rehearsal, like witnessing this happen, like him coming out, her seeing it,
and
all
she's
the
like, what?
The realization of like our wedding's in 24 hours, and like, why does he look like? What's his face doing? Like, oh no, yeah. So don't schedule bachelorette parties or really anything that you could potentially get hurt. Actually, it literally happens all the time. On Friday, I did a wedding in Palm Springs. The bride was working out the day before her wedding, just having a normal workout, and dropped a medicine ball on her face, and she had to go to urgent care because her lip was all fucked up. Which luckily it wasn't too bad. It was able to like be covered up and
you
stuff.
would think that working out was safe.
Exactly. You have to be so fucking careful.
I was like walk on eggshells.
Drops a medicine ball on her face the day before, and like I don't even know. Man. And don't try any new beauty routines. No. Listen to our hair and makeup episode.
Don't try new foods either.
Emily on our hair and makeup episode tells a great story about a bride who had 2 black eyes because she had gotten
2 friends that were black.
Black eyes. Because she had like Botox or whatever in her face.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
2 friends. Yeah, it's there's a lot of risk with those things. So please be careful about that. Okay, I'll leave you with.
We got one more story.
Okay, I'll leave you with one of my favorite.
Okay.
Again, this was early in my career. Same wedding that somebody gave the ring to the ring bearer child, and he immediately lost the ring.
Oh,
which that's not even the horror story, but that was
part one.
A lesson learned early in my career that you do not actually give jewelry to children. The groom was a prop master in Hollywood and brought in 2 confetti cannons to go off when they did the kiss. And it was going to be this moment,
cool,
right?
Sick shot. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So confetti cannons are about the size of a real pirate cannon. As it turns out, they're huge. And he had brought in professional prop master guys to man this, and it was a moment, right? Because I was I'm not dealing with these confetti cannons.
Leave me out of it.
So the wedding is about to start. The processional's all lined up. We haven't quite started. It's that moment where it's silent right before the music starts and the officiant walks down. Boom! These fucking cannons go off. Wait. Everyone in the whole wedding, because it was a surprise too, nobody knew, thought that there was an actual bomb going off. 150 people dropped to the ground because it just sounded like a bomb. And so there's 150 people dropped on the ground. The bride starts crying immediately. There is also 1 ton of confetti now just everywhere. Blasting. Yeah, there's no putting that back in the cannons and getting everything down. No. Oh my God, it was
okay. Wait, this is horrible. The processional though. So they
haven't even walked. No, they haven't even walked down the aisle. It went off right before.
This is the processional, not the recessional.
It was supposed to go off at the kiss before the recessional. Yes, but no, it was right as I'm about that moment where you're just about to start the ceremony.
Oh my God.
Yes, and everyone thought they were gonna die. But the good thing is nobody did die.
That's great. That's great. People wiped tears off. They sat back down and had confetti all over them
and
for
then
the rest of the ceremony.
And I actually was the real loser of the situation because I had to pick up confetti on my hands and knees at the end of the night. So you know what? Who has the real nightmare job here?
At least it wasn't your wedding.
Who has the real horror? Anyway, on that note, I hope that was a little fun and spooky laughs for your Halloween.
So we had 4 dings for alcohol.
At least. Yeah. They probably all have to do with alcohol. Who knows? Even the confetti cannon guys were probably drunk. Allegedly. I'm not sure.
Oh, recessional? I thought you meant processional.
Right at the very beginning. Oh my God. Who knows? But don't worry. None of those things will happen to you. No. Listeners, viewers.
No, they won't. They won't. Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in today.
Cheers.
See you next Tuesday.
Peace.